Wow. Good morning, good afternoon. Thanks for jumping on ABC Mondays. I think this is week 6. It's been about 6 weeks. So for everyone jumping on, so cool to see you every Monday. These calls give me energy. These calls give me so much connection with you guys as well. And I think I'm certain that these calls are giving people value because you guys are still jumping on, which is awesome. So we're going to be live streaming into the 10K group, and some people will kind of jump on and whatnot. So feel free to jump and invite your team if you want to invite a few people on. Today, we're going to be talking about objection handling. I can't say that this is my favorite topic to talk about, but it is one of the most important parts of this network marketing thing that we're doing. Whether you call it sales, whether you call it influencing, whatever it is, at the end of the day, it's all around having conversations and helping people achieve what they want, finding out people's wants and needs and offering a solution. Now, a lot of people that we chat to are suffering. They're in a lot of pain. They've got challenges that the Healy can totally help them with. And we have a solution for them. And so sometimes with objections, it's like people aren't, they might say it's too much money or I don't have enough time or these kind of things that they're thrown out, but it's not really the real reason why they're not taking action. And so we're going to go through some ways of how to articulate and how to work with these questions and objections or challenges, or, this is where the real conversation starts. We can all do a scan on someone. We can all kind of show someone a video. That's easy stuff. The next part is having that real conversation with them and saying, like, do you want to move forward? And if they say no, it's like, okay, well, what do we do? Because a lot of us have said no, getting involved with Healy, and a no is just an opportunity to figure out more. And some people definitely can't take action right now, but some people can. And sometimes we just get in our own way. I get in my own way all the time with different things. And we have upper limit issues and belief systems that hold us back. And we know that the Healy and what we have can support a lot of people. And so I think this is a really important topic, and I hope you guys get a lot out of it. Would love to do a quick little check-in before we jump in here. Please jump into the chat. If you can share with us what's going well for you. What's 1 to 2 things that's going really well? What's one thing that you might be challenged with at the moment? And what's your focus and what's your goal for next week? And would love to kind of tune in to see where you guys are at. Cool. Excellent. I'm going to share my screen. So thanks, Margareta. Doing lots of scans and doing really well. That's awesome, Alice. Nice. Yeah, I'm on a few days hop between Sydney to then Melbourne and then Tasmania. If anyone's in Melbourne from Tuesday night to Friday night, would love to catch up. I'll probably catch up with you guys on the Friday for the call with Brandon. And yeah, we're going to be down for a few days and then off to Tasmania. So it's new beginnings, which is really exciting. So here we go. Chat. And I have this up here. Can you guys see this on the screen? Is this sharing? Can I get a little nod from someone? Yeah, thumbs up, thank you. So this topic, right? I'd love to know actually as well, looking at this word objections, right? Objection handling. What is the feeling it gives you? This is a bit of a sales kind of word that's been around for many years. For me, it's not the most exciting word, but we could look at it as an opportunity to really connect. These challenges where people say, I can't do it right now, there's a story behind that, right? And there's always a story. If someone's got an adamant decision on something, like someone yesterday, I had a chat to them about their views on what's happening in the world right now, and they're actually pro-vaccine and pro like COVID's a real thing and this is all happening. And I was like, cool, that's really interesting. Like, tell me more about that and tell me this. And they had an experience where they had a virus and nearly died from a virus many years ago. And so they had this real experience, and that then allowed them to have that belief of, yes, I'm going to definitely get the vaccine. I said, that's cool, no worries. I said, tell me more about that. And I found out all about his backstory and what was going on. And I understood. I was like, oh, that makes so much sense why you are so supportive of what's going on. That's totally cool. I have some, interesting videos and some other perspectives. Are you open to that? And he's like, yeah, sure. So I sent him a video on something to research, and because people are so busy these days, we don't see the new insights. And so, this is this is the ability to lean into the uncomfortable. This is the ability to lean and have a deeper conversation with someone. And so whether you call it objection handling or whether you just call it getting to know someone at a deeper level, it's pretty much the same thing. Hendrik, such a great month so far. Epic dude. What's been so good? Tell us more. Claire, join us on the co-working day on Friday, Zach, in Hamilton. Yes, I'd love to come to that. Tracy, goal is to continue follow up on all the previous scans I've done, which is a lot by now, I'm sure, to book in the next round of new scans. Amazing. And Gary, you just said 11:11. Fantastic. That's the contribution. Thanks, Gary. All right. Oh, good. Oh, it's Gaz. Hey, Gaz. Good to see you, man. Jumping on. Cool. So today, what we're going to go through, drum roll, is a bit of a check-in. We're going to do some tips on having those deeper conversations or objections handling. And we're going to talk about the 4 steps to handling objections. We're also going to go and we'll let you know that next week, we're going to be talking more about getting your team started right. So when someone joins your team, what do you do? How do you get them started correctly? So before we do that, we did this last week and I've been doing this on all my scans. I'd love to just kind of drop in for a minute. So if you're driving, please stay on the wheel. But if you're not driving, I'd love to just do a couple of deep breaths with you guys, center from the crazy morning or the crazy day that you've had or the crazy weekend, and to really set this week up with being present and calm and focused. So if you'd like, close your eyes, whatever you feel comfortable with. And we'll just do 3 deep breaths and slowly exhale. So when you're ready, breathe all the way in. And exhale really slowly, slower the better. And when you're ready, breathe all the way in again. And exhale even slower than before. And one more for good luck. Breathe all the way in. And exhale. So I'd love to know what your intention is for jumping on here today, guys. A few new faces, a few of the veterans here. What would be the one thing you'd like to learn or work through today? My intention is to share with you a way of really deepening a relationship with the people that you're talking with and to feel more confident in the uncomfortable. So my intention is for everyone to feel more confident in those uncomfortable conversations. And I think if we can lean into those uncomfortable conversations with presence and listen and not interrupt and be really, really present to other people's views, we can all learn so much, right? No one's ever wrong. Everyone's just working in their own belief system. And so I'd love to know what would be your intention for today's call. Please put it into the chat. Thank you. All right. So I'd love to know from you guys as well, and maybe we can open up the mic for this too, but what have been some of the objections that you guys have experienced? So for those of you who are sharing Healy, this is going to be mainly related around Healy, but who would like to share some of the main no's that they get?
Zach, you're muted.
Oh, okay. Oops. Thank you. I was just reading out some of the objections here. Thanks, guys. They have to convince their partner. What I did just mention is sometimes people are confused on how the technology actually works. You know, it's like they don't have any reference behind it. Oh, someone said they haven't. Yeah, you might have lent a Healy to someone and said they haven't noticed any changes. Yep. They can't afford it, not the right time. Okay. So not enough money, not enough time. Don't understand it. Don't feel any difference. My favorite is they don't need a device, right? They just think they just don't need it. Not sure it works on me. Yeah. So there's obviously, these are common themes. People get these a lot. Not enough time to explore. Yeah. Too busy. I've got other things that are more important. Oh, they're anti-tech. Yes. Yes. It is too pricey, although I'd imagine the price will drop over time. Hendrik, I was there once. So thanks for sharing. These are all really important. Now, out of all of these objections, you know, even looking at network marketing, they're like, I don't have the skills, I'm not confident, right? Or when looking at it's a pyramid scheme, or, you know, all those negative, you know, objections. Sometimes they don't even say those objections, but that's what they might be thinking. But if we were to boil down the objections, even with the product, might be money, or with themselves, there's limiting beliefs that we have within us that are reflected. That would be, I don't have enough time, right? That's just a belief system within their own psychology. But if we were to break down all the objections, which there are hundreds, there's thousands, we could be here for hours doing this. It boils down to a couple. The one is firstly, it's a limiting belief about network marketing. Right? A lot of people aren't familiar with this industry. They aren't familiar with leverage, or that you can create residual income, or that you can, you know, use this to build your own personal development. There's so much, it's just a very misunderstood industry. There's also limiting beliefs about ourselves, right? Our own potential, our own voice, our own importance, our own confidence. These are things that stop people from taking action. And there's also limiting beliefs about the product. So they just don't get it. It's just maybe too new. It's, you know, it's ahead of its time. So these are common. So when chatting to people, how do you use this? It's like, okay, understanding when someone says it's not enough time, or I can't do this, or I can't share, I can't do social media. That's a limiting. You can categorize it into these areas, and then it's a matter of then communicating to them in a way that helps build their belief in the product, or helps build their belief in themselves, or build the belief in network marketing. So it's kind of like this is the underlying reason they're saying it's not enough money. What's too much money? There might be a belief that they're not deserving of more, or something like that, or they're not able to do what you do because you show up on social media. They're not able to connect with that, and so the limiting beliefs come back to, most of the time, to these three different options. So if everyone says this is easy, everyone say this is simple and this is fun. Sometimes this can be a heavy topic, but I want to give you guys some tips on this as well. Now, when chatting with people, just a reminder, we had this in the other training. It's all around smiling, breathing deep, and asking yourself, how can I serve this person's highest good and potential right now? How can this be a win-win? We're always after a win-win. So when anyone says no, just take a second, breathe, smile. Oh, great. This is an opportunity to have a deeper conversation. And say to yourself, how can I serve this person's highest good and potential? How can I make this situation a win-win, right? And so really important to listen, active listening, and jumping into people's shoes. Maybe some people don't wear any shoes, maybe jumping into bare feet. You know, wherever someone's at, jumping into their world is really important. Clearly, now, a lot of the time, you know, these objections that you guys just shared with us, that is only half of the story. You know, it might be just, that's the first layer. And so what we want to do is to clearly define the objection. So someone says, hey, I just don't have enough time right now. I'm so busy with the kids and work and everything. So to make that person feel heard, because a lot of the time in society, we're not heard, we're not understood, we're not felt. Repeating the words back to them, you know, I get it, you know, life's busy, you know, so what you're saying is that you're just super busy right now. And they say, yeah. So you want to kind of make sure that they feel heard. Repeating that, mirroring that back to them is a great way to help them feel that you're connected to them, and also that they feel heard. Discovering the true objection. So once you kind of clarify it, okay, cool. Like if someone says they don't have enough time, you'd say, okay, so you're super busy, you don't have enough time. Okay, I'd love to ask you a question. Like, what amount of time do you think it takes to use Healy? What amount of time do you think it actually takes to build a Healy business? I'd love to know about that. Like, what are you thinking? Tell me more. Like, lean into that, ask questions to go deeper. And they might be like, oh, look, to be honest with you, like I had a friend who did network marketing and they just they weren't successful. And then then what they've done is they've shared more of the story of why they say, oh, I don't have enough time right now, because they think their career and what they're doing is more important, which is fair enough. But you'd say something as well. Another great question is, if I could solve this issue for you, what other barriers are preventing you from getting started? Yeah. So someone might be saying, yeah, I don't have enough time, or I don't believe in network marketing because someone had a bad experience. So like, if you're open with this, you know, if you're open to have a bit of a chat, if we were to solve this issue with you and help to educate you more on network marketing and to show you like how you can actually how you can be doing this in and around what you're already doing in your time, would there be any other barriers stopping you getting started? And they'll be like, no, there's no other barriers. So if they say no, then you know exactly what the true challenge or the objection is, what the biggest issue is right now. So it's just a way of diving deeper into what's really going on underneath the surface. So this is all around making them feel heard, making them feel seen, considered, respected, and felt. You know, it's so nice when you know, I've been with people and I've shared, hey, this is something I'm really struggling with right now, or hey, like this is how I'm feeling. And if they go, why do you feel that way? Or it's not important, or don't worry about it. That's not a very nice way of feeling connected and relating to someone. And so what is great, what would be better is like, hey, tell me more about that. You know, what are you feeling right now, Zach? Or like, how's it going? Like there's a bit of a story there. Like, tell me more about that. Let's unpack that, so to speak. And building that connection is beautiful. It's a great feeling, being heard and seen and respected, right? Please put a yes into the chat if you like the feeling of feeling heard, feeling seen, considered, respected. If you love that feeling, I'd love you to put a yes into the chat. So next slide here. Yeah, it feels good, hey? So when having these conversations with people, these challenges that come up, it's really important. We've spoken about it before, using other resources, using other tools, using other pieces of evidence, using other people's testimonials. So being prepared is really important. So whether it's screenshotting some testimonials from the testimonial group, or it could be copying some testimonials and in text and putting them in some graphics. You could do that as well if you wanted, or getting this, like the science. There's a couple of videos that I use for the science of Healy, and there's also another article with the science on microcurrent. So I have that in my notes. So there's a few things that I know that people usually ask that I'll be prepared with to help kind of articulate what I'm trying to portray. Always using third party, right? Whether it's another call or a Zoom, and inviting them to an event or a webinar. That's always another way of doing it as well. Yeah, I think I'm cutting out a little bit, guys. I'm just going to reconnect my internet. The wonders of being on the road. I'm just going to disconnect for 2 seconds, but we'll be straight back. Okay, I'm back. Good old hotspot on the phone. Jumping back over here. So always using third party. It's always a great recommendation, because having someone else's energy in there in the conversation is really beneficial. So don't expect to do this all on your own. If you're not using your upline, not using someone else's story, it's going to be a lot harder for you. you know. Use open-ended questions to keep the conversation going, staying in a relationship. Don't try and win. Don't make them wrong. Don't shut them down. These are fundamentals, right? Just deeper, more honest communication. No one's ever wrong. They're just, you know, looking for more of the answers. So really uplift people, right? Getting vulnerable, get personal, and don't point at them, point at you. So using examples for yourself or that you've found useful or what excites you, rather than saying, why do you do that? Or that's not the right way of looking at it. Point at yourself, yeah? Point back at you. Now, embrace these objections, okay? The real conversation starts here. A lot of the time, like what, you know, this is similar to when you say to someone, hey, how are you? And they say, yeah, I'm good. How are you? And I'm like, well, you know, like how are you really? Like usually we're very surface with how we reply sometimes. So this is just deepening the relationship and asking better questions to get to the core. And so the key here is to slow down. Don't interrupt, right? Sometimes we like to finish the question, answer it really quickly and move on, but just take your time, talk slower as well. We all get excited. I get excited and I just want to talk people's heads off sometimes, like how amazing this device is. So it's just slowing down, hearing them out, and don't interrupt. A really good book to go and read. Now, I haven't read this myself, but it's been recommended with the research that I've been doing. I'm sure there's an audio of it. It'd be something I'm going to look at as well, which is Chris Voss's Never Split the Difference. This is all around the art of negotiation and how to make I guess how to make the deal a win-win. Don't ask why, right? If someone said, oh, it's too expensive, you say why? Or you say, I don't have enough time. Why? Well, it's people can, not always, but some people get really defensive. And so, you know, lean into that and say, tell me more about that. That might be a better way. Or say something like, can you help me understand what's causing that? Tell me more. Like there's a story there, right? Most of the time we go around life, 95% of our lives, not feeling understood. Most of the time people aren't really heard. This is why before COVID, I was so, and I still am, so passionate about the events that I used to run, the broth night events and the different workshops that we ran. Human connection is so important. And this is just a reminder when asking these questions with people is to dive deep and to help understand. Alfie, off the bed. Dogs. All right. And asking things like, is there anything else you would like to know before getting started? This is a really powerful question. So say you've given the scan, you showed them a few things, they've had a couple of questions, and then you're like, oh my gosh, they're not replying. I'm not getting anything back, you know, or you're on the phone with them. You're like, I don't know what to say next. Say something like this. So, you know, from what you've seen, is there anything else you'd like to know before getting started with Healy? And that kind of just continues the conversation and gets them to think about, okay, actually, I need more clarity on this. Or actually, you know, I wasn't sure on this and I just need to find out more. And so you want to make sure that when people join with you, that they're 100% confident. Like I want people to be 1,000%, it doesn't exist, but 100% confident that they're making the best decision for them, right? So you want to make sure you just ask the right questions. So everyone, let's say this is easy, this is simple, this is fun. That's it. If you're feeling resistance to this, shake it off. This is a really cool graphic, right? Objection handling is like peeling an onion. The core of the onion is what you want to address. So, you know, you could change this might have been my belief system before objection handling, because objections might have been a little bit, you know, onions. When you think about that, it's like, oh, it's going to burn your eyes. Oh no, I don't want to look into it. It's, you know, the taste is so intense. But maybe you can change that to being an apple, you know, and it's so awesome to keep diving deep into an apple because it tastes so delicious. And so if this was a delicious experience for you, if you're feeling a lot of resistance around objection handling, change the metaphor. We can change our whole life, right? Neuroplasticity. We can change the feeling and experience of anything. And so when looking at what you guys mentioned before is more surface level. I don't have enough time. I can't do this. I've got to chat to the spouse. I've got to do this. These are mainly surface. And when you ask the questions of like, tell me more about that. I had the same experience, and it was funny when I got started, you could tell a whole story and you can go deeper and you could get closer to the root cause, right? We're all time, I like to just get to the root cause straight away. And I say to people, I'm like, hey guys, look, if I get through this presentation with you and this Healy scan and you look at all the info and we check in and you're like, hey, I just don't want to do this. It's just not my truth. Just say that to me. Just be honest with me. Like, I just want to say that up front, because some people will like pretend that they're interested. Just be like straight up with me, black and white. And that just helps the conversation, right? And so saying something like that in the beginning can also help. So getting to the root cause. So Eric Worre, he's kind of like the Tony Robbins of network marketing. He has 4 steps to handling objections. So this is something you definitely want to write down. The first step to it is listen, right? We said that before. Listening is really, really important. The second step is relating. So when relating, it's sharing how that objection, so say they say, I don't have enough money. So even when I got started with Healy, I borrowed money to buy my Healy. I actually didn't have the money. I knew the money was going to come in a couple of weeks, but I had to borrow my mom's credit card. I did. This is a true story. This is a true. And I had to borrow, and then I ended up paying her back with a bit of interest because I was so grateful for that. But if it wasn't for me pushing through that resistance of like, oh, I don't have the money, but I knew what Healy was and I saw the opportunity and I saw the amazing benefits it could have for me and my family and everyone. I was like, I want to be a part of this. This is so aligned with me. I just wanted to figure out a way. And so sharing your story, if you've ever struggled with money before, sharing your story, right? I get it. I understand. I had the same experience. That happened to me too, right? So relating is really, really important. So it's, I'm sure a lot of people save up, and there's still people, if they don't have the money, if they say that to me, I say, no worries. Like, when will you have the money? What, in the next couple of weeks, a month, 3 months? Okay, cool. Well, let's circle back. Let's chat again in a couple of weeks, or let's chat in a couple of months when you do have the money and see if it's the right time for you. And then they start saving for it, right? Because not everyone has the money straight away. But it's good to have that awareness and then be comfortable with that. It's a good thing. If they don't have the money, that's fine. Say, is this something you want to save up for? Okay, cool, great. Well, how long is it going to take for you? A week, month? Great. Well, let's chat again in a month. They're like, okay, cool, great, no worries. And I'd say in the meantime, while you're saving up, can you think of a couple of people who would also like to have an experience with Healy? I can scan them, I can show them, and if they end up buying a machine, they can go through your account and you make between 150 to 800 Australian dollars per sign up. That's cool, right? So yeah. The other thing, you want to also share stories. So on one of the trainings before, I think it was week 2, we spoke about skill 1, which is around, or skill 2, which is around presenting, which is around sharing your story. So we have multiple stories, right? We went through a template for the health story. We went through a template for the wealth story. So relating that in to when you're chatting with people. And so, for example, the money thing, they're like, I don't have money. And you'd say, in my first month, my Healy arrived in about 9 days. And I was like, where is this Healy? But in that 9 days, 3 people already purchased the Healy. And I had pretty much I got a free Healy from that with the fast start. This is my story. It's going to be different for you guys, right? It might be like 3 months in, I really decided to share Healy, and then I've sold 10 Healys and I made all this money. You can share these stories on helping them realize that, oh, actually, yes, it might be a bit of money out of my bank right now, but there's an opportunity to get a free Healy for one, earn commission on this, and it's, then they're going to get support from me too. And so I say to them, we have training, we have development, we do a lot of group stuff, we do a lot of one-on-one, and I can show you exactly how to do that. So, and this is why it's exciting, is because I believe everyone that comes into the team, if they want to share the Healy should be free for everyone, right? The Healy should be 100%, and it can actually be a profit. And last year, the $4,000 that I paid Australian, I didn't pay on a promo. That $4,000 has been, if that was an investment, that turned into multiple 6-figure income within 12 months. And so that's what's possible within Healy. And if someone knew that they could invest, a few $1,000s and potentially earn $100,000 a year or more, residually, that's going to be pretty exciting, right? So painting the picture for people. Now you might not have that story for yourself, but that story, you can borrow my story. You can say, this guy from Australia, Zach, he did this, he did that. You know, I can connect you with him. Do you want to meet him? He can share his story. They'll be like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then you can get me on a call. So sharing your story, if you don't have the story yet, share someone else's story, right? Borrow someone else's story. And then the next part is asking the question. So they've said, hey, I don't have enough money. You shared that that's a similar story to you, or maybe there's been an experience in the past where you've struggled with money. Then what you've experienced through being a part of this community, seeing the testimonials, what's possible, painting the picture of what's possible, and then saying, like, if I was to show you a way where you could get your Healy for free, if I could show you a way to get your Healy for free, would you be open to taking the next step? And so just asking the question. If they say no, you say, well, tell me more about that. Like, let's discuss that more. And if they say yes, then great. Well, let's get you connected. So this is a small formula that you definitely want to write down. This is going to take some time to practice. I'm still practicing with this too. Like, it's going to change. It's never going to be 100% all the time. Sometimes people just want to start straight away. Some people need to have a conversation and think about it and dive into the information. And that might take a few months or a year. So you just need to trust the process in that. And, you know, as we said at the beginning, how can we really support the other person's potential, and how can we make this a win-win? But this would be something I'd definitely take a photo of. And now a bit more, if you want a bit more of a deep dive into this, I can send the link in the chat here in a second. So if anyone, there we go. Just a quick slide. This at minute 33 of this link, I'll put this link into the chat. This is Eric Worre talking through this whole process. It's genius. Like, this isn't my process. This is just a process that works. And it's a really nice, easy way of doing it, where it, yeah, pretty much, if you decide to do this, guys, and you know, there's a decision in life, the level of commitment, like what I've experienced in life, when I commit to something and I say, yeah, I really want to do this, right? Like Healy was like, I'm all in 100%. Life, sometimes when I do that, life reflects back to me the results for 100% commitment. In the past, if like in a relationship, if I'm not 100% in, the results are reflected back to me in a very challenging way. And it's not a very, I've been, you know, hurt in the past from not committing. And so there's something really interesting when you're 100% committed in on this business, or when you're 100% committed on your current career or relationships or family or an experience or a holiday, and you're really present, and you give it 110%, something happens. Like life shows up, you know, the experiences and results, or the path and the opportunities keep unfolding. It's kind of like what Tony Robbins says, is like, burn the boats. If you burn the boats, there's no escaping. You're 100% committed in doing what you're doing. Then, you know, there's that, if you have faith and you trust and you connect with the team, there's like magic happens. It's, you can't, anyway, I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. But what I'm saying here is, if you really dive into these skills in network marketing, in communication, in influence, in this ability to lean into the uncomfortable, I know that you guys will be rewarded in so many different ways. So here's the video. I've just put it into the chat here. It's a long one. It's more so relating to the skill from the other day, which is all around follow-up. But then it's also at minute 33. That's when he starts talking about objections. So that's the format that I was using that we just pretty much covered. I'd love to cover something else with you guys as well. So for those of you who don't know, a lot of new faces here, and we have a lot of training within the team. So one of the websites that we have, and we're going to be talking about this next week, which is how to set people up successfully, but it's this website. So if everyone wants to click on this website, save into their notes, I think you're going to get a lot out of this. So I'll just share my screen again. Here we go. So this is called myfirststeps.co. Now, what this has is the training broken into 3 main sections. Product, everything to know the product. If someone just wants to get a great experience with the Healy, master the skills, get connected, the video bank of some of the best videos that I like, that's a really good start. Now, if someone wants to build a business, we have 4 steps here. This is around the 90-day game plan, the 5 steps to create your first 1,000, the 10,000 challenge, and then the top leader training. Those are awesome. And then the last part is all around you, how to create your vision, personal development, and also personal development videos there as well. And so please save that, share it with your new team, walk them through it over a Zoom, over a call, right? Really ensure that you're setting them up. I say this on every single call, you know, it's your responsibility to ensure that everyone has a great experience. If they don't have a great experience, they might send the Healy back, right? And so you want to make sure that they're getting a great experience, because if they get a great experience, they're going to organically want to share it a lot more effectively. And but something that's really cool, and a lot of you know about this already, but in the 90-day game plan under here is a weekly checklist. So if you're really wanting to do this as a business, there are some actions that we need to take, right? And I've broken down all the major actions. We call them daily method of operation or income producing activities. Things like the conversations, the follow-ups, the calls, the referrals. What hours are you going to do? As well as your own, you know, your own personal development, which is around how many times are you scanning yourself? How many times are you actually using the Healy? Are you connecting back to the sun? Are you meditating? You know, you're doing the main things, the non-negotiables, friends and family, hobbies, spirituality, scheduling this into our diary, right? There's a decision and a commitment that comes. Like if we decide to do something 100%, as I mentioned, the results will kind of unfold. Now, for those of us who start this in the beginning, it's okay not to do this, right? It took me a long time to start using this. In the beginning, just go back to this website, and the best thing that you want to start with the 5 steps. The 5 steps to creating your first $1,000. That's the first jump. But if you're like, hey, and it talks about story, talks about putting your list together, talks about the approaches, talks about getting feedback, talks about the ATM method. But if you're like, hey, I really want to start doing this as a business and really, you know, earn like $10,000 a month or more, then this is what you want to start using. Go here, you go print out landscape. And then this is a great check-in every single week to see what's going well and to see what's not going so well and to see what to improve on. So that's all on that website. Fun. Thank you, guys. Would love to answer some questions, feedback, insights. Next week, we're going to be talking about how to set your team up for success. So this is a cultural, I guess, habit for everyone to really set everyone up correctly to make sure everyone gets a great experience. So we're going to be talking about that next week. But does anyone have any questions? Yeah, just unmute yourself.
Hey, Zach.
Hey. Hey, good. Thanks for jumping on.
Good. Zach, I had a lady who I did the demo with, and she was super excited. She could see how she could use Healy, and she told me she can use it with her clients and blah, blah, blah. And I told her about the sale. And I said, if you're already deciding, just make sure you do it actually a few days before. I normally recommend people by latest by 25th, you know what I mean? And she said, okay, book me in for 24th. And she was like, she put it in the calendar, and I said, hang on, let me check if I'm available that time or not. So super excited. Everything went fine. Her scan was awesome, everything. So today, 24th, we were meant to tonight. She's in the UK. She wanted to buy it. So I sent her a Zoom link yesterday, and I received a message. She said, I haven't responded yet because I had to attend the call then. And she said, hey, I'm not interested anymore, and not now nor in the near future. So I'm sorry to have taken your time, but thanks for your time and everything. So what's the best way here?
That's a really good example, and that can happen, right? Well, you haven't said anything yet?
Not yet. No.
Okay.
I wanted to attend the call anyway, and I saw it on my way while I was driving. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah, I know that feeling. So I'd love to ask everyone on the call, before I answer, what would you guys respond? What would you ask or share to help Onkar with a possible way of replying? I always like to, the first step is saying, you know, like, what would you like if you were in their position, what would you like you to say back to you, so to speak? You know, usually that's going to be the best, most authentic approach, is what you would like someone else to say to you if you were in that position.
Yeah, for me, first question that popped up in my mind was, hey, hon, is everything okay? Like getting to know like what's happening with her. And later on looking at that, or she's rejecting or not, whatever it is about the product. So checking in with her, hey, is everything okay? Like what? And then of course asking like, what suddenly happened?
So yeah, here's, you know, Andrea said, I would ask her what made her change her mind. And then what point did she change her mind? Yeah, those would be good. I would definitely do it as a voice message.
Yes.
I've had my own experience in, you know, you just communicate more through message. You know, there's going to be less blind, like we can interpret text messages so incorrectly sometimes, and well, I can as well, like it just happens. So probably doing this via voice message.
Yeah.
And you just, you know, you'd say, thank you so much the other week, you know, it's great to meet you, you know, great to connect the other week, thank you for being so open, it was amazing what happened in the scan. You know, you could just remind them a little bit of that. You know, I'm a little bit confused, like tell me more about that, like you know, what point did you change your mind? And but you know, this is totally normal, this is totally fine, like I get it, and if you not interested, that's totally cool. But just for my own learning, what happened, you know? I'd say that through voice rather than text.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and as Tracy says, so much can change in this world in such a short period of time, and then you would love to understand more about what happened for you. Yeah, perfect. I get.
Thanks, Gina, for the money part. She actually knew. She calculated everything from euros into pounds, and she's yeah, fine. She was all okay with the cost as well. Yeah, thanks.
So the model that we just went through, right? So let's go back to that. This is such a good example. So so the four.
Can I ask you something?
Hey, Inez. Sure.
Hey. I had the same experience the last week 3 times. The first one had, we were 100%, he was 100% sure he wanted to buy it. He wanted to do it with me. It was a recommendation. And then he comes like a day before we had the date. And we didn't make a scan. Maybe he hadn't had this personal experience, but he had met a friend accidentally who had a Healy, who told him his story. And he said he had a very big inner conflict, and so he wasn't going to buy it. Number 2, she was 100% sure she had already invited her neighbor to buy one too. And overnight, she informed herself about the MLM. Still a lot of prejudice on the MLM in Germany. And so 150% no. After she was so sure overnight. And I was like really, really crushed with her, because she's been an old client, and we had a beautiful connection. And we did a scan, and the last one was yesterday, so it was number 3. And now I feel like I really want to take action. We did a beautiful 1-hour scan, and we had the most beautiful connection. And she said, okay, I have time on Sunday. And I looked and I said, okay, I have time on Sunday. When shall we do it? And as the call happened, she said, oh, you know what? I went to somebody yesterday and she had a Healy on the table. And she did give a treatment to somebody else. And then she said, well, we should do it today if you want to buy one. She had even mentioned that she had been in contact with me before. And so we talked again, and because it was like not even 24 hours in between. I want to see if she can change the account. She said, from my feeling, I totally want to go with you, but I really didn't know what to do. And she was not informed about she said, like, I want to do the first step with her and then the second step with you. So she didn't get the information from this other woman.
That's a really good point, Inez. Thanks you for sharing those examples. And
Yeah.
I put these three different, whether it's a belief in themselves, belief in the product, belief in network marketing. It's, they can usually boil down to these three, and it's so important, right? If someone's done the hard work, if someone's scanned someone, send them back to that person, right? Send them back to that person, because we would want the same. Treat others how you want to be treated. And so if I scan someone and I find out that they've been scanned by someone else, I say it's best to go back with that person. Yeah. If they then say, I don't want to go with that person, well, that's up to them, right? Their own free will. But at least making sure. So yeah,
she was, and we looked at her team also. She really split in, who to follow, and it was like a parent's relationship, and so I really want to take action, and maybe we can PM about it, how to go about it, to file a ticket. And
we can chat about that after, Inez. Let's just to stay on point.
Okay.
So that's awesome share. So seeing whether it relates, and then going, okay, well, that's where they're at right now. Totally cool, right? And you say, listen, you relate. I understand. It's easy to change. It's easy to change your mind during these times. Life gets hectic. I'd love to know more about what's going on. And as Margareta said, keep it upbeat, keep it excited, high vibe, right? Don't get too down on it.
That's why I have to do some learning.
Yep.
The third time I was really crushed, but we both cried, so that was nice.
Well, that was a good connection then. And so and seeing how that goes, Onka, does that help?
True. It does. I've already copy pasted a few of the responses, and thank you everyone else too. So I'm going to just mix and match all of them.
Awesome.
Use all of that. Thank you.
That's a really good explanation too, Tracy.
I think with that, the longer that you leave it from when they had their scan, what I've found, to when they're actually going to sign up, every day they're going to lose that feeling that they had, and they forget how amazing it felt in that moment, that excitement, that really strong desire. And so it's really important that, I call it enrollment. They were enrolled, they wanted to then go forward and register and buy it, but they hadn't taken that step yet. So to keep them enrolled, look for the next touch point. So it's really, adding them to the frequency experience, maybe finding a testimonial in there and sending it to them. Hey, I just was thinking of you and I saw this testimonial. You mentioned when we did the scan that you were, really struggling with sleep, and this testimonial's on sleep. And it just reminded me so much of you, and send it to them. And that's it. So you're just creating a touch point. You're not kind of trying to show them that, you're not trying to sell them, but you're just showing them, because they're not enrolled. So you've got to re-enroll them in the benefits for them, and then say, how is your sleep going? If that was their thing, or if so just continuing to maintain the relationship, and think of it as, so that she is definitely open to the product. It just probably needs, as Zach said, I think it was last week, some people take, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 touch points before they actually are going to purchase. So, just continue to have her in your sales funnel, continue to build the relationship, and just trust the process. It's not her time yet, but doesn't mean it won't be her time ever.
This is really, for sure. This is some of the stats on the follow-up, right? We spoke about this the other day. If anyone wants to see the recording of this whole training, it's in the 10K how to hack your first 10K in the guides under ABC Mondays. We have all the recordings there. But in terms of the follow-up, it's really key to keep, as Tracy said, them enrolled in what's actually going on. So how long, I'm curious, Anka, how long ago did you scan her, and how long ago, what's the time frame till now?
Sorry, you're asking me, Zach?
Yep. Yeah. When did you scan her? How long ago?
It was on 10th May.
Okay. So what's the date now? 10th. So like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So this is a really good reminder, guys, is to, okay, keep in mind, if you scan someone, keep them connected in the frequency experience.
Yes, I did. So I sent her some information. I added her to the group, which she hasn't, I noticed she hasn't accepted the invite. But I had sent her some info. She thanked me for that, and she commented in another group. So I was in touch with her there as well. So yeah, I did make sure that I was still in touch.
Yeah. Okay. That's good.
Only until I sent her the Zoom link for tonight, she responded that way.
Yeah.
And it was her that put it in the diary. And I actually literally had to ask, hang on, hun. She was literally writing my name down to buy and everything after calculating the cost. And I said, hang on, hun, I really need to check if I have another appointment. And fortunately, there was none. So I said, oh, all good. We can go ahead with that time today. Yeah.
Something's obviously come up for her.
Yeah.
Something's going on with the mic. Yeah. So something's obviously come up with her. And yeah, keeping that connection going, you're in relationship. Another great method as well is the 3-3-3 method. So, you know, commenting on 3 of their posts, liking, commenting, and replying to some of their stories to stay in their mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these conversations is like digging through the layers of the onion, right? She's like, hey, I'm not interested now. Well, let's figure out what's going on, get closer, and figure out the true cause. And yeah, just relate, just be there. And yeah, if it's not the right time, you say, look, I'd love to stay in touch with you. And if you think of anyone else or if it changes, you know, I'm always here, you know, so.
Yeah. Sure. Thanks.
Awesome. No worries. Thanks for the share. I think that was awesome to give some context.
Just a quick one, Zach. Someone mentioned about Christianity or something and Healy. I had actually saved a YouTube video and I've posted in the chat for anyone who's looking for that. So it's about Catholics and religion and Healy. So please feel free to copy and
great, I'll check it out. Yeah, put that in my notes too. So does anyone have any questions, insight, anything else they want to share before we wrap this up? Amazing. So tomorrow evening, we have the business overview. Every Tuesday, Australia time, Sydney time, we have 7 p.m. The business overview of Healy. So it's one of the top leaders sharing for you to invite any of your team or new people onto this. I'll just quickly grab the link. Or if anyone has the link there, maybe they can share that in the chat as well. But it's a recurring link. I might just quickly try and find it for you guys. And a lot of these events are in the 10K group. So if you're wondering how you got into this training and whatnot, in the events of the 10K group, that's where you'll find a lot of these that come up. Here's the link, guys. I'm just putting it into the chat. Oh yeah, the Facebook group for this. Yeah. So if you guys aren't in the group, it's the Quantum Business Group. That's the link there. And then if you want to register for the webinar, it's the event.webinarjam. So if you put your email in there, you'll get an email 15 minutes before the actual webinar to jump on that. And there will be the recording is that link went after the event. In my diary, every Tuesday, 7 o'clock, I'll put it in. Might be a great idea for a lot of the leaders stepping up and wanting to invite their team as a reminder. Every single week, this call is on at 11 o'clock Sydney time, and then 11 a.m. Sydney time Friday, same link, same channel, we have a call with Brandon. So he does more of a deep dive conversation around life and blocks that we're going through. And then Monday is more of a structure, more templates on how to build this. So this has been really fun, guys. Thank you for being so present. I'm sure, I'd love to know the one thing that you got out of this. Please jump into the chat, share the one thing, one takeaway. I'd love to know that this was worth your time. And we'll be back here next week talking about the next part of the puzzle. If anyone wants to connect with me throughout the week, please message me on Facebook and organize a one-on-one. And happy to coach you guys one-on-one as well as in groups here, which is where we're at. I'd love to also just get a quick little screenshot with everyone. If anyone wants to put their video on, I'd like to do a quick little screenshot. Everyone do their hair real quick. Hold up your Healy if you've got it. I've got the 3 Healys that we got from the last promotion. We sold 9 and got 3 free Healys. Thanks, Healy. I think these are going to fall off. All right. I don't know how to do this. Hang on a minute. Should have more hands. Oh, look, all the new smiling faces. I'd love to see you guys with your cameras on next time. All right. 3, 2, 1. Say, yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Fun. Keep it light. Keep it happy. Keep it clear, everyone. Thanks for jumping on. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
This is every week. And if you guys need to jump on a chat, happy to find some time this week too. We're going to Melbourne tomorrow and I'll be there till Friday and then going over to Tasmania. So we'd love to meet you guys in person if you're over in Melbourne or Tassie too.